What's going on, guys? It's UrAvgConsumer, and this is the LG G7. So I got a chance to check out the new phone by LG, and here's what's new with it. So firstly, let's talk about the design. It's rocking a 6.1-inch Quad HD Plus display, and the body is similar to that of the LG V30, which I'm actually a fan of. In the back, you'll notice we've got a glass back for wireless charging, and you've also got those dual cameras as well as your fingerprint scanner. You won't find anything groundbreaking with the G7, but LG did introduce two new things to it. First being a new button on the side, and this is a dedicated button to pull up Google Assistant, and they're calling this their AI hotkey. And I'll just break the news to you right now. This is currently not mappable, so you can't use this button for anything else, but it is software related, so hopefully LG will come out with a software update in the future so that you can access different apps with it. Please, LG, this is a step in a great direction. Don't let it go to waste. And second, there's a notch. Love it or hate it, guys, companies are making the move to phones with notches to get as much screen real estate as possible out of these phones, and LG is no different. And of course, as someone who uses the iPhone 10 on a daily basis, I know the notch doesn't bother you. After a while, you get used to it. I'm still not crazy about the idea of so many rumored phones following Apple's design choice. Luckily, this extra screen space is what LG is calling its second screen, kind of like what they did with the V10 and the V20. And if you really hate it there are software options that allow you to bring back the bezel. You can even change the design of the second screen from the colors to even the edges. And something that's pretty cool about this display is that LG went beyond the typical RGB pixels that are found on a screen and decided to add white pixels so that the screen can get even brighter. You can go into this boosted mode that allows you to go outdoors if it's really sunny and boost this beyond its standard max brightness. And having used it myself for a bit, you can definitely see the difference. So you have those options, but overall we're looking at the V30 design on LG's G line. And in terms of specs, the G7 is going to have a Snapdragon 845 processor, 4 to 6 gigs of RAM depending on your region, 128 gigs of storage, and a 3000 milliamp hour battery. And you can also expect wireless charging, a micro SD card slot, IP68 water resistance, and even a headphone jack. But more on that later. Now you might have noticed in these clips, the back of the phone actually says ThinQ. I guess the full name is LG G7 ThinQ. Basically it's like think, the word think, yeah, that's what it is. And LG is going with this branding for all of their product lines that have AI integrated into them, just like the G7. But beyond the AI hotkey, another place you'll find AI is in LG's camera. Here we have dual 16 megapixel cameras, and the front facing camera is an 8 megapixel, and one of those rear lenses is packing a wide angle lens, which I'm very happy to see. I've said it in previous videos, I find the wide angle lens to be more useful than a telephoto, so I'm very glad it's here in the G7. With the AI integration and the camera software, the phone will be able to detect things that you're taking a picture of and provide the best setting and filters for an ideal shot of whatever you're shooting. And something that's kind of interesting about LG's AI camera is that you can see all of the words of the things that it thinks it's detecting until it sees the right one, which makes it feel like you were watching the phone think. No pun intended. In my brief testing, I had some success with plants, fruit, and other basic things, but the strangest thing is that it had trouble picking up dark faces. And I noticed the camera instantly detected people with lighter complexions, but not so much for people with dark ones. I tried this for both myself and Marquez and pretty much got the same results, but I'll save my judgments till I get this thing in hand and test it more extensively. Now, in terms of shooting in the dark, it's supposed to do really well at taking low light photos. There's a bright mode that you can jump into if you find yourself in a low light situation, but if it's really dark, the bright mode is automatically enabled. And it seems like LG is really considering the low light performance of these cameras, from the fast apertures to the introduction of pixel binning, which allows the camera to take better pictures in low light. So it's cool to see LG focus on these things, but we'll have to see how it performs in a real day in the life. They've even introduced their own portrait mode feature now, and from my very brief time with it, it seemed to perform pretty well, but of course, gotta test it some more. But I do like the fact that you can adjust the blur before and after the picture. But now, moving on from the camera, we also have LG's new boombox feature. The LG G7 is sporting a 39% bigger speaker and a much bigger resonance chamber. And it's actually pretty interesting because the IP68 sealing for water resistance allows it to have a bigger resonance chamber, which should result in much louder audio and even being able to feel some bass from the phone, which is unheard of. And I got to test out the speakers with some music, and it's actually pretty loud, and it's cool to feel the bass coming from the phone. And the G7 even features DTS:X virtual surround sound that you'll be able to experience through speakers for a 7.1 surround sound as well as headphones. I wasn't super crazy about what I heard when I first saw it, but I'm gonna actually wait until I get it in hand and spend more time with it before I make any rash judgments. And thankfully, LG is not skimping out on audio at all. That seems to be a real focus for them, which I love. And they're even doubling down on bringing high quality headphone jacks with a 32-bit hi-fi quad DAC over to the G line that used to be exclusive to the V series. And this is something I'm very happy to see LG doing, and I wish more companies would copy this rather than the notches. Overall, this is looking like a pretty solid phone, and my hat goes off to LG for focusing on audio, low light performance with the cameras, as well as bringing premium materials and features over from the V series. Kudos to LG. We're gonna have to see if all of that stuff transfers over well and if it actually works once I get my hands on it. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be the cool guy or girl that gives this video a thumbs up, and let me know what you think of the G7 down below, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Till then, it's your average consumer. Peace.